All right, the World Health Organization chief says that he wants further investigation into the origins of the coronavirus in China. Do you believe that? This coming as new concerns over new variants of the virus and the effectiveness of vaccines grows. Joining us now to talk more about this is the author of The Coming Collapse of China, Gordon Chang, and chairman of critical care at United Memorial Medical Center in Houston, Texas, Dr. Joseph Varon. Gentlemen, nice to have you both back on. Good to see you. Gordon, we'll start with you. This report, it's got to make you laugh at this point. The WHO released a completely bogus report on the origins of the virus. The report was basically co-written by the CCP. The Director General, Tedros, says that there's no evidence to support the theory that this virus was born in a lab. You know what that makes me think, Gordon? That makes me think that this virus was born in a lab.
Yes, and it makes me think that China wrote the report.
Right.
I actually think that the lab leak theory is the most probable. Remember, this lab was storing more than 1,500 strains of coronavirus. It was engaged in risky gain-of-function experiments. It was not adhering to safety protocols, and it is located just miles from the first identified case of COVID-19. And by the way, we know that China worked very hard to prevent the international community from studying this lab. They sent their chief biological weapons expert, General Chen Wei, to the lab in early January of last year to, I think, clean up the lab. And I think her job was also to hide evidence of a biological weapons program, although I don't know that. But I do know China has done its best to make sure we didn't find out about the origins of this disease.
Yeah, they are never going to let us find out. Dr. Varon, good morning. Nice to see you. A lot of concern over these different variants, particularly that P1 variant that comes from Brazil. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says that she's afraid of a fourth surge in cases here in the U.S., something that she called impending doom. Take a listen.
When I first started at CDC about 2 months ago, I made a promise to you. I would tell you the truth, even if it was not the news we wanted to hear. Now is one of those times when I have to share the truth and I have to hope and trust you will listen. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to lose the script and I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom. We have so much to look forward to, so much promise and potential of where we are, and so much reason for hope. But right now I'm scared.
All right, so Dr. Varon, the most important question, right now, well over 100 million Americans out of just over 300 million have been vaccinated. In most other countries, they're nowhere near that number. Do our vaccines work against these variants?
Well, I mean, the problem with this is that we are not sure. We believe they do, because so far we have not seen a spread like the one you're seeing in Brazil, for example. But having said that, we have to be careful. And that's why we keep on telling people, at least for the time being, keep on using your mask, keep on keeping a little bit of social distance, try to avoid going to crowded places until we know for sure. As of now, we have not had any evidence of anybody that has been vaccinated twice that has gotten into one of these nasty variants and ended up in the intensive care or death.
That's a very important point right there. So more than 100 million people have been vaccinated. Nobody's been vaccinated with both shots and come back down with one of these variants. So I'll take that as a positive sign. Other countries are struggling right now. Italy is shut down. Paris, France shut down. Germany will be shutting down a large part of the country for the holiday. The U.S. has been a lagging indicator, basically about a month behind what's been going on in Europe. So we'll have to wait and see. Gordon, back to the origins of the virus. The Biden administration, they're going to propose another multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill today to stimulate the economy, allegedly. Why aren't they spending more money on going into the origins of this virus? Because guess what? This virus killed over 500,000 people, decimated the economy, and the next one could be even worse if we don't know where this one came from.
Yes, and we know that China, because they talk about it, had been working on a new type of biological warfare, as they say, of, quote, specific ethnic genetic attacks. In other words, they're developing pathogens that will leave the Chinese alone, but will attack everyone else. And, you know, that's a civilization killer, Rob, if they've actually able to do it. You know, we've got to look at this bug because I don't know if it came from the lab, but that looks like where it did actually originate from. And if it did come from a lab, we got to ask, was this actually manipulated? Most scientists say no, and on the other hand, China very well may have developed techniques that we don't know about and which will be able to hide their tracks. At this point, everything is on the table. I'm not saying that's probable. I'm saying we need to look at it because of what it could do to our society next time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gordon. Dr. Varon, we're just getting some breaking news right now. Pfizer is saying that their vaccine is 100%, which is pretty unbelievable, at treating children ages 12 to 15 and preventing them from getting the coronavirus. And then the CDC just put out a study that says nearly 80% of people hospitalized for COVID-19 were overweight or obese. That report just coming down from the CDC. 80% is 8 out of 10 people. Your reaction?
Well, I mean, I would say that they have to come and spend some time in my unit because that's not the case. I mean, I have a lot of people that do not have obesity. They do have some other comorbidities, but yes, obesity is known to be like a magnet for COVID. Why? Because within the fat cells, you have a little thing that's called a receptor that kind of binds to the COVID spike. So by doing so, you multiply a lot in your body. We've seen that. However, we do see a lot of patients that are not obese, and yet they have COVID. So the fact that you are not obese doesn't mean that, you know, there are no issues.
All right, Dr. Varon, thank you. Gordon, I just wanted to make you aware of something. 60 Minutes, I'm sure you saw, did a big report on the possible origins of the coronavirus Sunday night, and Leslie Stahl seemed absolutely flummoxed that this could have possibly come out of a lab or that China might be duplicitous. You have been saying that on our air here on Newsmax for the better part of 5 months now, so we thank you for that. Keep coming on and keep keeping our viewers informed. Everybody was applauding 60 Minutes, and I felt like saying Gordon Chang and Dr. Varon have been saying this to some extent for a long, long time. So thank you.
Well, thanks, Rob.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.